Yeah, that's
Okay. Another example under the deductive form of reasoning or logic, we have all men are mortals, and we know all men are mortals, and we know that mortals are people that can die. Now, James is a man, so its conclusion is what? Therefore, James is a mortal. So this is an example of what? A deductive logic. Remember we said it is what? A kind of argument that goes from what? A general phenomenon, a general situation to a particular instance. So that is it. So now the next item on our outline I want to treat are what? Some basic concepts in logic. Now, the first one we have to treat is what? An argument. Now, the notion people have about argument is the normal quarrels, the wranglings, the disputes we have every day. But that is not argument in logic. Argument in logic is seen as what? A reasoning process that has what? A conclusion. And this conclusion draws from its premise. Argument in logic is seen as what? A form of reasoning, a reasoning process. It's a reasoning process. And this reasoning process has what? A conclusion. And this conclusion must come from what? The premises. That is what an argument is all about. Now, let's come back to the deductive form of logic. Now, what we call premises are something like this. These are what we call what? The premises. This is a general premise and this is a particular premise. So now they said it is a reasoning process. You reason and your reasoning must come from what? Your reasoning arrives at a conclusion. This is our conclusion. But this conclusion cannot come on its own except when we have what? Such premises like this. And when we have premises like this and the conclusion follows from the premise, it's called what? An argument. Not just an argument, but a valid argument. Secondly, we are going to treat what a proposition is all about. Now, when we talk of proposition just means what? A statement. A statement. And that statement is what? A declarative statement. A declarative statement does not ask question. It does not give what? Command. It does not make a request. It's just what? A statement. Now, these statements are used to make assertions. The statements are used to make assertions. And these assertions could either be what? True or false. It can either be what? Positive or negative. That is what an assertion. Now let's take an example of an assertion. We can say an assertion, a statement can go like all lecturers are tall. This is just a statement, and this statement could be what? Either true or false. So, what is in essence a proposition are what? Statements used to make assertions. They are statements used to make assertions. This is the key word. Statements used to make assertions. They don't ask questions, they don't give a command, they don't make a request, and they don't say things that are what? Negative. But you get at the back of your mind that whatever is being said as a proposition could either be what? True, could either be what? False. Now, what is the significance of logic as a field? What is the importance of logic to the human race? Now, logic is used to make what? Systematic judgment. Systematic judgment. Now, when you say systematic judgment, it is a judgment that are followed through what? A process, a system, and you arrive at that judgment. Any judgment that goes through logic must be what? Valid. So the first is what? Systematic judgments. And by the time these judgments are being made, what are we going to have? We're going to have things like what? Critical principles. A principle can be likened to what we call theories. For those of us who are science students, it can be likened to a theories. And a theory cannot be formed if not what through what? A critical thinking process. Then another thing it helps an individual. Another significance of logic, it helps an individual to be what? More in thinking, critical in thinking. And when you are being critical in your thinking, the result is what? You give what? Valid judgments. This is the significance of logic. We have many of them. It even helps one himself to be logical. Like when given a problem, a challenge, let's assume rain is falling and you see water approaching your door. What's the next thing to do? You don't just start taking action. First of all, you what? You think. And when you think, you try the process, you try what you've thought about. If what you thought about is the valid judgment for that situation, you can be able to what? Block that rain and it will not affect your house. But if the situation you devised is not standard, you see that the rain still falls in, to tell you that what your thinking process was not what a critical one. So now let's come back to definition. Let's come back to the outline. We define logic as what? A pure science of reasoning. And we stated two types of logic, which are the what? The inductive logic and the deductive logic. We said an inductive logic comes from what? A particularistic meaning to what? A general meaning. While the deductive logic, in contrast, comes from what? A general situation to a particularistic meaning. Then we talk about some basic concepts in logic. Examples are what? We have argument. We said argument is what? A reasoning process that arrives at what? A conclusion. And that conclusion must be drawn from premises. While propositions were defined as what? Statements used to make assertions. These assertions, they don't use it in making requests, they don't use it in giving a command, they don't use it in asking questions. They are just what? Statements. And I remember I said the statements could either be what? True or false. And lastly, we highlighted the significance of logic, which gives us what? Systematic judgments. And we arrive at what? Critical principles or theories. Then critical thinking for the individual himself. Then lastly is what? Valid judgment. Thank you very much.